put that visor down before I set off. Good evening, everybody. Cam Biker here. And I say that for a reason. I've often said I'm not a fan of the open face helmet, and I've never had one. So it's not that I can say from experience that I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of the idea of the open face helmet. When I got knocked off the Honda, I landed chin first, and the helmet protected me. I could have done with a helmet for my whole body, couldn't I, really? But the helmet protected my head, which is where I keep my thinking juice, you know. And that always made me think, you know, if you fall on your chin, which apparently is one of the most common places to hit when you come off a bike. None of us want to come off, but if you're going to come off, then covering the most common place to hit with a helmet is probably a good plan. And I've often said in the past that I'm not a fan of this resurfacing they do, where allegedly they put down a little thin layer of tarmac, or not tarmac, but tar, or some kind of glue or black stuff, black goo, and then they cover it in chippings, and you get the little sign out for loose chippings and how you should go at 20 miles an hour, and of course nobody does. And those two things, those two dislikes, came together the other day in a sort of way. I nipped out for a ride, just a quick 50 miles-ish, I think it was, just a loop of the old IAM advanced test route, and a little bit extra, just for a little simple ride, really, to cool down a bit, though it didn't help because it was so hot. And while I was out, I had an itchy nose. So I popped my visor up a couple of notches, as you do, you know, kind of up a couple of notches to give your nose a quick scratch. Stuck my finger in my visor, gave my nose a quick scratch, and then went, ow! As a loose chipping, flicked up by a car coming the other way, I think, went through the gap in the visor, didn't even touch the visor on the way in, and hit me in the eye. And it kind of smarted a bit and then felt like it was a bit scratchy, and I pulled over and kind of gave it a quick drip of the eye drops that I carry with me because of my hay fever, just to make sure there was nothing in there, you know, to flush it out, and thought not a lot else of it. I say it felt a bit itchy, a bit like it had been scratched, but I get that quite often. That's a perk of having hay fever. And thought not a lot more about it until I got home and went in the house and happened to glance in the mirror and realised that half of my eye was bright red, where basically it was bleeding, and it was a subconjunctal not hematoma, is it? Anyway, I'll try and look it up and stick it on the screen in a suitably bloody font, maybe, or maybe I'll just show you a picture. Basically, it's a bruise. It's a bruised eyeball. It's like when you get a bruise on your arm, except there's no skin to hide the colour and make it look purple or brown or whatever. So, because the skin, if you like, conjunctor, because that stuff is clear, when you've got bleeding underneath it, it just looks like an horrible, nasty red splodge. Anyway, it's clearing up now, which is good. After, I don't know, maybe about a week, I guess. But it just made me think, you know, the number of things that hit your helmet. Because that day, it was kind of ping, ping, ping when you went through them things. After I'd shut the visor, after that one had caught me out, the visor got hit another 5 or 6 times by loose chippings, and then you get flies and bees and wasps. I've had in the past a time when I had my visor up and a notch where a wasp got in and actually ended up on the inside of the visor right in front of my eye. I tell you, I've never emergency stopped so quick in my life. Get that helmet off. A stunned wasp in front of your eye, you don't want to annoy that. But yeah, all these things that ping off you and hit you potentially quite hard. And this was just a small chipping. I've even had a butterfly once hit me on the visor and completely block one eye's vision. and I've had much bigger things hit the visor that I suspect if they hit me in the eye, well, it'd be more than a bruised eye. I think it'd be more a severely damaged eye, potentially a lost eye. And it just makes me think. Well, it might not make you think, but it makes me think a bit about these open face helmets. That, you know, surely they're a bit more trouble than they're worth. I guess if you're really claustrophobic and you really struggle with a full face helmet, then there's a point to them. Certainly, if I was to wear one, I'd have one with a visor. You see these, it's quite often around here there's a chap I see who's got the old monkey hangers on his bike, and he just has that, what looks like a colander with the holes covered up and painted matte black on his head, with no face protection whatsoever. I suppose if you're one of the people who ride around with no protective equipment apart from the obligatory helmet, I guess it's probably enough. I see plenty of people at the minute in this heat who are just wearing t-shirt and shorts and sandals and things like that, but certainly not for me. So I don't know, what do you think? I've probably done this topic before, but I say it came to mind because of the little injury I managed to pick up. Let me know what you think in them there comments. Anyway, nice short one for you there. Thanks for watching, everyone. Ride safe, and I'll talk to you all again soon.